My name is Veverka, and I'm the producer and director of China, the Rebirth of an Empire.
And Jesse, what does that movie deal with?
It's basically an examination of China becoming a superpower and what type of superpower China is going to be. And we examine the way it treats countries around it in the U.S. as kind of a way to get an idea of what a future China is going to look like.
And without spoiling the film for us, can you tell us just a little bit about what you feel like that will look like?
Well, I think that we're basically at a turning point in history where we have a country that has a very large population that's become industrialized, and it's going to, at the very least, challenge the U.S. economically, and I think very likely be a more powerful political entity as well, sometime in the very near future, with probably in 2 decades.
And this movie obviously chronicles that rebirth, as you say, because the Chinese civilization is very old.
Yes, I mean China obviously has thousands of years of history, and there was a historical Chinese empire. So I think we chose the title "Rebirth of an Empire" to kind of give the idea that this is something that had existed before, and it's going back to kind of a natural order, at least from the Chinese point of view.
You've got this film made. Jesse, do you have any other films in the works?
Yes, we do. We have a short narrative coming out next year about India, and then a documentary about the Maoist insurgency in India also coming out sometime next year or the year after.
So all these films are very international. They deal with geopolitical forces. What has led you to that interest?
That's something that I think has fascinated me for a long time. My background was in economics and Asian studies, as well as engineering, which is slightly unrelated. But I think that the two of those, economics and Asian studies, really got me thinking about the way that the world is changing because of the growth of the economies in Asia.
In macroeconomics, it looks at things like politics, right? Externals like that?
Yeah, I mean, macro, right, deals with monetary policy and trade, and then you've got basically, sorts of microeconomic issues involving, incentives within countries. That's kind of something that my training has got me, my economic training got me thinking about in the way that China interacts with the U.S.
Average American in 20 years, lifestyle is more materially rich or less materially rich?
I'm afraid that probably our living standard is going to decrease in the next 20 years. And I think that is going to continue until we get industry back in the U.S.
So the loss of industry?
I think the loss of industry is a huge part of what's going on. And I think that we've been kind of taught with modern neoclassical economics to think that free trade is great and that you don't have to worry about anything as long as you have free trade. But you really can't ignore your trade balance. If you're exporting or importing a lot more than you're exporting for decades at a time, you're going to eventually lose your living standard.
Jesse, anything else you'd like to say about the film?
Basically, I think it's something that I hope to get a wide audience for, because I think it's a topic that really affects the lives of every single person these days, just because the world is so interconnected and globalized that China and its growth is going to affect everyone.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
Well, thank you.